إن لله عبادا فطنا طلقوا الدنيا وخافوا الفتنا نظروا فيها فلما علموا أنها ليست لحي وطنا جعلوها لجة واتخذوا صالح الأعمال فيها سفنا إن لله عبادا فطنا طلقوا الدنيا وخافوا
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعين ونستغفره ونؤمن ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا إنه من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم أجمعين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين أما بعد حياكم الله brothers and sisters, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you. I'll try to... Can everyone hear me without the... I just wanted to get everyone's attention first, but I think you can all hear me without the mic, yeah? So let's turn it on. Can the sisters hear me? It's clear?
Or just speak a little bit, then we'll know.
Okay, type. Inshallah. Okay. So we're going to try to keep it, inshallah, to half an hour and then some questions. And I want to start by saying that this is a topic that all of us are concerned with. And I put myself first in this because I'm falling short of this. But without a doubt, it's something that has to be addressed. We never want to be in the category of people when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, there's different tafsir about this, but it applies, yani. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu lima taquluna ma la taf'alun. Why do you say that which you do not do? From this ayah, there's different tafsir and different ahkam that you can bring, but one of them is this one, that there should not be any contradiction between a person's speech and his actions, a Muslim specifically. And the Prophet ﷺ, he is the one who exemplified this, the perfection, and he embodied this. And the way he was in his speech, he was in his actions. And that's why Aisha radiallahu anha said, كَانَ خُلُقُهُ الْقُرْآنِ, that his behavior was the Qur'an. So, many times when I deal with students, as I'm a teacher, and with my family sometimes, with my parents and friends, and sometimes I lose my temper, you know. Then when I read the ahadith of the Prophet ﷺ, his seerah, how he used to deal in these cases. So for example, if someone would come and grab me by the neck, or my beard, you know, and sometimes, you know, our children, like, well, for those of you who have children, they grab your beard and it hurts, you know. And the Arabs used to do that as a sign of almost disrespect. So, the Prophet ﷺ, he would react in an interesting manner. You know, sometimes he would smile. Sometimes he might be angry, but he would react in a very peaceful manner. And whenever I read these things, I find myself that, number one, I'm so short of this behavior. Number two is that I really believe, of course we believed before, but that he was a prophet. That only a prophet would be able to react like that. You know, and you see the best of people, when someone does that, like they snap, you know what I mean? Yet the Prophet ﷺ, you know, he had this amazing behavior, you know? And wallahi, when you read these things, you're like, how can a human being possibly have so much patience? Right? And at the same time though, we have to put things in balance. The Prophet ﷺ was not Buddha, a'udhu billah, that, you know, when there was a situation that called for a certain action, he would take it. Okay, he was not a person that can be pushed around and, you know, and is stomped on. That's for sure. That's clear and cut. Okay? Because a lot of times, you know, when we look at certain philosophies offer always extremes. So people are left in having to compromise and complete that philosophy with something from outside of the philosophy. Okay, so social humanists today and existentialists and people, they say, well, we are, good humans and so on and so forth, and forget about religion. But then they have to bring new laws and they have to reinvent the laws because human beings need laws. Right? So they've taken, we'll take the love part of a religion. Christianity says we'll take the love part of religion. Love, 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 love. And they'll say, that's the Old Testament, this is the New Testament, this is too harsh, this is more merciful, this is, the law, and this is grace. But then they have to invent and add and reinvent the wheel and bring new laws in because humanity needs to be governed. Humans need laws. While Islam is, yes, pull my beard, push me around, but when there's something that really needs to go down, it's gonna go down. And there's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. So that's why Islam is a way of life that touches every single, you'll never left and like, what should I do, And that's why, we know that the Prophet ﷺ was the best example. And Allah says in the Quran that He has addressed everything in the Quran. Everything. Now, does it talk about, the genetic code or no. But if you look at it, in the end, there's something that will be related to some ethic that will come somehow that you're not going to be left in like, what should I do now? There is some principle or something that will be applied to that. Whether it's something new, existing, or something that will come in the future. Wallahu a'lam. So what I want to talk about today, again, to put myself in the audience, it's about ihsan. And I chose to translate it as professionalism today, okay? Even though it is much more than professionalism, but maybe a term that, can come to mind and we can maybe understand and relate to is professionalism. And first of all, let's make distinction. No doubt, ihsan is much more than professionalism. In professionalism today, people will show up to the office on time. They will conduct their business in a proper manner. They'll have proper, behavior, work ethics, and so on. However, a lot of times when we know we live in a country where you need to make it to the top, individualism is very much encouraged. They'll use and they'll recur to Machiavellian, philosophy, right? That the ends will justify the means. So if it means to stab someone to get to the top, you will. If it means you have to backbite the person in office and you need to expose them or you need to lie about them or you need to do whatever, people will do that. And that's where ihsan is different. That no matter what, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says to stay qawwam, you have to be in justice even if it's against yourself. And in another ayah, even if you have hatred towards some people, you still have to act with justice. And also subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Wallahu yuhibbul muhsinin. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves those who do muhsinin, those who do ihsan. And these ayats are powerful. You can hate someone through your, for their guts out, okay? Doesn't matter. This person can be the the biggest rascal you've ever met. It doesn't matter. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Quran holds you on it. That you will act with this person justly. And we have this exemplified in the life of the Prophet ﷺ, and we have this exemplified in the Sahaba. When Ali radiallahu anhu, when he had to deal with that Jewish person who stole his shield, and many other examples. And you have the judge, the Qadi, who's saying, do you have any proof? This is a Khalifa, he's talking to the Khalifa. Do you have any proof? If you're not, with all the respect, get lost. He's talking to the Khalifa. Imagine, he's the source of law. No, you're not above the law. No one's above the law. Okay? Can be whoever you are. I don't care. Whatever people say, anti-Semitism, blah, blah, blah. This is all propaganda. We don't have anti-Semitism in Islam. We have people who are evil and wrong and they're killing and this and that. There's no such thing as anti-Semitism in Islam. Okay? There's no such thing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about adala and justice for every single person, even if you hate them. Even if they're, whatever they are. Justice is established. And when justice is lost, when adala and is lost, this is when one of the signs of the Day of Judgment, and this is, as the Prophet ﷺ said, that trust, and this justice will be the first to be lost. The first in line to be lost, and the last one will be salah. So today we'll speak about, as I said, ihsan is perfection. Really is to make perfection in everything that you do, if we can, But I want to speak from that angle of professionalism. The scholar says, وَقَدْ أَمَرَ اللَّهُ سُبْحَانَهُ وَتَعَالَى بِالْإِحْسَانِ إِلَى النَّاسِ أَجْمَعِينَ. Yani ihsan, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has indeed okay, order ihsan for all human beings, okay? And this is really important because this is a source of guidance. Why? Because perfection, if you look at perfection, right? If the whole humanity is ordered perfection, right? Okay. Well, let's look at it from a point of religion, of deen, okay? If someone wants to worship Allah, people say, I believe in Allah today, right? I believe in Allah. I love God. Okay, good. What is the best way to worship God? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala acknowledges that there are people from Ahl Kitab, people of the book and so on, mushrikeen, and He says in an ayah that many of them believe in Allah, not but they associate partners with Allah. They believe in Allah, but they have to associate partners. This is the only way they will believe. Okay? And we know very well the other ayah that we quote many times, when they're on the sea and the boat is about to sink and the waves are about to overwhelm, at that time, La ilaha illallah, Ya Allah help me. When he reaches to safety, then they make shirk. They say, thank you, Jesus. He goes back to the sea again, and you've seen it. You travel by airplane, okay? People not say, oh Jesus. They say, oh God. If the plane is, loses altitude, some bump severe, people all of a sudden, they become religious. Take off the earphones from the songs and all these things, and all of a sudden the prayers start, up and down. People are praying. But if people apply this ihsan to their daily life and they think about, okay, what's the best way for me to worship God, they will see that it is Islam. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ordered ihsan. And when we are lacking ihsan in religion and faith, then people will not come. People will see us the way we behave and they'll say, well, this is not ihsan. And I remember a Christian lady saying to us in one of the MSAs, she said, well, in the Bible it said that you will know them by the fruits that they bear, you know the trees by the fruits that they bear. She said, I cannot see you guys bearing the fruits, all I'm seeing is chaos. And that person might have a point. And on the day of judgment, that point might be brought against us. And we might be held accountable. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive us. So this is the perfect way to explain ihsan. And the scholars say, وقد أوضح صلى الله عليه وسلم محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم الإحسان في حديث جبريل. The Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم has made clear what is ihsan in the hadith of Jibreel, that a lot of us know this beautiful hadith. The hadith of Jibreel is when the Sahaba were sitting with the Prophet ﷺ, and here comes a man who doesn't have any traces of travel on him, and it's amazing, such a close encounter. He puts his on his elbows, on his thighs or his hands. He touches the Prophet ﷺ, and he asks the Prophet ﷺ some questions, okay, namely about Islam. What is Islam? And what is Iman? And then what is Ihsan? And the Prophet ﷺ explains Islam. Okay, he says the pillars of Islam. Okay, then the Iman, the Arkan, the pillars of Iman, and then with Ihsan, he says, أن تعبد الله كأنك تراه ولكن لن تكن تراه فإنه يراك. أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. يعني to worship Allah as if you would see Him. But you don't see Him, but you know that He sees you. I mean, this is something that we need to pause and reflect over. And this is where I want to bring in the discussion of professionalism. And again, I put myself in the same position because I'm falling short of this. And if we would all apply this, we would see that our ummah would be in a better state. Now let us look at it. And I'm talking really to myself. Wallah al-Azim, I'm speaking to myself. I'm very clear and I'm not, scared to say, I need to acknowledge what I'm doing. We work, for example, I work as a teacher. There's many days where I'm going home and I don't feel like I've earned my money because I didn't do a proper job. And maybe a lot of us, the first step in solving a problem is to acknowledge the problem. Now a lot of people are refusing to acknowledge the problem, and that's the biggest issue that maybe we're facing as an ummah. That people are saying, there's no problem. What are you talking about? We have the best thing, And the reality is that we don't. The reality is that the ummah has been blessed and tested at the same time by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by giving them abundance of wealth. And because of this abundance of wealth, we are able to import things. Okay, we live in a place where we import everything. Now, people might take this as a sensitive, but really, if we're better than Umar Khattab radiallahu anh, then let us stand up and, walk out. Because Umar Khattab radiallahu anh used to take criticism from children. Children used to tell me, Ittaqillah Umar. Fear Allah ya Umar. He used to fear, he used to really get scared. We should take criticism, brothers and sisters. Criticism is something very important. Constructive criticism, proper criticism, without insulting criticism, but criticism should be taken. And this would result in us admitting that we are doing some mistakes. That we are not being professional in our jobs. Are we on time to work as Muslims? Here comes the joke. What is this? Is it Muslim standard time or is it normal standard time? People say, what time? We're going to meet at 2. Muslim standard time or proper standard time? They'll say, they have a joke about this, subhanAllah. The inshallah, every one of you is facing this in the, right? People say, the non-Muslims say, inshallah. Oh, see you guys, so we'll do this project? Inshallah. Right? He's mocking Allah and His revelation. Right? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this inshallah doesn't, right? It doesn't just come from anywhere. It comes from Surah Kahf. Okay? That if you forget, okay, then mention your Lord. This is when the Prophet ﷺ forget to say inshallah. It was some questions that came to him. He said, I'll tell you tomorrow. He didn't say inshallah. Revelation didn't come. It was a lesson, subhanAllah, that we learned. Okay? That we should say. That if you want to do something, say inshallah. Say that by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whatever you want to do. And if you forget, then remember of Allah whenever you remember. Okay, then mention Allah's name. So this is one of the the first things. Another thing is, let us look around us. There was a survey that came out within the Muslim world as to how many hours do people actually work in certain sector. I'm not going to give too many details. I don't want to go to jail or anything like that. But it came out that it was actually minutes. Not hours, it was minutes. Amongst checking Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, blah, 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 okay, and going running errands, it was minutes. It was a survey that it came out to minutes. That people are actually working every day about 46 or something minutes of work. Okay, we've seen it. You go online, you're doing, someone's, wait a second. People are checking, doing things, okay. This is not about criticism, it's about professionalism. The kuffar on the other side have figured this out. They said, if we are not going to do, and again, I'm putting myself on the same plate. If we're not going to work professionally, we're going to suffer. So they've perfected almost professionalism. When it comes to certain companies that are run by non-Muslims, it is perfected. People are really taking it seriously. People are really pushing it. They're pushing themselves. They have policies. While we walk on policies. There is no policies. They're written, but we do not respect them. And this is a reality. It is a harsh reality. Some people might say, brother, what are you talking about? You should cover the Muslims. I'm not naming anyone. I'm not saying anything. I'm covering my brothers. Trust me. We're trying to cover. But if we never address these issues, we're never gonna solve them. So ihsan is something that starts from your house, how you deal with your family, how you train your children, with your wife. We're all, both men and women here, short of that. Or how we deal with our spouses. Let's admit it. How do we deal with our children? Let's admit it. But you see, till we fix these issues, or we at least start fixing them, and even if we fix few things, we're gonna see that things are gonna get better. But till we do that, till we are in this slumber sleep where, we're just thinking, drinking coffee, kahwa, dates, this and that, moving around, taking pictures, giving certificates for something that's not being achieved, that someone else has done, we're not gonna fix the problem. We're not gonna fix the problem. This is not ihsan. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَأَحْسِنُوا إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُحِبُّ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. You want to be loved by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, make ihsan. Ihsan to your family, ihsan to your job, ihsan to the appointments, ihsan to whatever it is that you're doing. We should have ihsan. Let us look at us as an ummah today. We live in the past, brothers and sisters. We are always bragging about our ancestors. That the Muslims were the first ones to invent this, that the Muslims were the first one to put the almanac together and the instruments of medical and the first cataract extraction, and there was a hospital in Baghdad and Andalus. We still live in Andalus. Taib. These people, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that to them is what they've done and to you is what you've done. You're not going to be asked about them. The question is, what have we done? Okay? The reality is that those Sahaba and those Tabi'een or Tabi'een who came after them, they really worked based on the Quran. Their inspiration for these inventions, innovations, for their ihsan, what they've done, their perfection, Umar Khattab, okay, who perfected really the law system that he, really this was the time of peace and tranquility throughout the world. He conquered people. He was at war with people. But even his enemies, when the person came from Iran, from Al-Fars at that time, he was asking, where's Umar Khattab? You'll find them somewhere maybe by the masjid, and he's sitting there, he's sleeping on his shoes. And here comes the beautiful poem that we recite till today, right? حكمت فعدلت فعمنت فنمت يا عمر. Okay? You have judged, you have made adl, justice, you've reached safety or tranquility, so you slept properly. Today we cannot sleep, man. We need pills, we need shrinks, we need things, we need to build walls, we need to have security because we are scared. And he was not scared. And that's why one of the first thing when Abu Lu'lu' al-Majusi, when he killed Umar radiallahu anh, the first thing, when he stabbed him, the first thing Umar wanted to know is, was he a Muslim? Was he a Muslim? And when they said no, he said, Alhamdulillah. Because he wanted to know, did I lose the trust? Did I do something to the Ummah? Yani, did I lose the trust to them? Why did this person do it? And there was no reason why he did it. Someone put him up to it. So, ihsan is something that if we apply, we will find that Muslims should have the Nobel Prize. Not once, twice, but many times. Where are we and when it comes to that? If we apply ihsan, we'll find that we'll have the best educational institutions. Where are we with education, brothers and sisters? Nowhere. We are copying systems from different countries and just parachuting them into our countries and thinking it's going to work out somehow. How many of our countries have been conquered and people have come in and changed our language and our culture, and we can barely speak Arabic now in certain countries, and we're trying to relearn it almost. And we need to almost relearn our roots. We forgot who our ancestors are. We forgot where we come from. But if we apply ihsan, we can get all that back. We need to bring it back into education. We need to bring it back into our children. Our children are running wild. There's no ihsan, there's no ihtiram, there's no manners. Our children are running wild. Illa min rahima rabbi, of course, there are exceptions. They're very good people, mashallah. We're not saying that. But in general, you find that all the people that you talk to in general, they'll have a negative view somehow of the ummah. And subhanallah, we find that we are fighting with the river. It takes so many projects. Wallahi, yani people know maybe behind that curtain how much time some people spend in working for the sake of Allah and struggling. And it takes one crazy guy to come on TV for a couple minutes to do some crazy thing, and it destroys all that work that you have done for hours and for days and for years and so on. He'll destroy it in a few minutes. And people say, that's Islam. This is Islam. What Islam? So we are against the flow. It's a difficult fight. But if we apply ihsan, this ihsan is going to help us in everything we do. And we'll say that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give us victory. It's not about the numbers. It's not about the quantity. It's never been about the quantity. You know that. It's always been about the quality. It's always been about, and that's why ihsan is related to quantity. To quality, sorry. Ihsan, I repeat, is related to quality, not quantity. It's not how many hours People are sitting at work for 9 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, serving people, and they do it with their hearts. They're like squeezed, right? But if you give him, increase a little bit, be kind to them, offer them a smile, don't treat them like some kind of, whatever, like they're coming from a different planet, you'll find that they will react differently. If people believe that they have something to invest for, they will invest in it. And they will put their heart and soul into it. But if they just treat it as a, single serving thing, when you go on an airplane, you just take this fork and you eat it one time, it's from the plate, from the little package, you're gonna throw it out, right? It's exactly how some people think about what they do in their life. Whether it's a job, a project, whatever it is. It's a single serving. I'll use it, I'll try to get whatever I can, and when it's over, I'll leave. We cannot deal with that as an ummah. We are importing everything. Where are we? We need to teach our children to take risks, to start inventing, innovating, thinking positively, to learn their deen. If they do not learn their deen, then they're going to destroy us. If you're going to take physics, okay? If you're going to take physics and you want to be a astrophysicist or something, that deals with, or in chemistry, or you're dealing with, making certain things that are important or even dangerous. If you don't fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you don't have taqwa, and you don't have ilm, knowledge, sharia, fiqh, you can destroy yourself and destroy your family and destroy the people around you. And we have seen it. We have seen it in the world. Look at Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It took, people, crazy people. And they destroyed. Till today, people are suffering. Look around the world, the world war and so on. People who did not care and fear Allah. And in the end, who is it that suffers? Innocent people, women and children, people who are poor, and so on. So, ihsan is something that will change that. We are importing everything. Look at when is the last time that the ummah developed something? Honestly. When is the last time that we said we have certain, sustainable, economy? Other than what Allah has blessed us with. We cannot take credit for that. We have to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but it's been given as a gift. It's not like it's been given as a gift, and even that's been taken with the help of other people. But we have to say, Alhamdulillah, this is a blessing. At the same time though, it can be counted against us as a test that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will ask us for every I gave you all of that. What did you do? What did you do? And we say, nothing. It's not about impressing people, brothers and sisters. Trust me. It's never been about impressing people. Impress Allah, and you'll find that people will be impressed with you, really. Go after Allah. Try to impress Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Try to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You'll find that He will call Jibreel and He say, I love this person, so and so, you love him. And then Jibreel will call the angel and says, Allah loves this and I love this, you love them. And then all the angels in heaven will say that we love Him. And then the people on earth will start loving them and will start, really looking up to them. But till we are thinking that these people, we need to impress them, this or this, Joe and this and that, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَأَحْسِنُوا كَمَا أَحْسَنَ اللَّهُ إِلَيْكَ. And make ihsan as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made for you ihsan. Allah has made for you ihsan. He's given us Islam. He has given us this deen. He has given us the manual to do things. For everything. For everything. This is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has perfected religion for us in Islam. If we follow it, we can have a life that is filled with certain elements of perfection. It's never going to be perfect. Islam is not utopic. Islam is not come to be Jannah on earth. No. That's when we look through the Quran, you'll find it addresses every single problem. It recognizes the problem. It recognizes human deficiency and so on, and deals with that. Islam is not utopic. Yes, there is a place where inshallah we're hoping to go. Inshallah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us, all of us, to reach there. But here on this earth, we are dealing with not so perfect human beings. And it's fine. Islam says it's fine. Do your best. So it says, ittaqillah, mastata'atum, yani, fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as much as you can. And no one's saying be an angel. No one said, you're never going to commit sins. Okay? كل بني آدم خطاء. Okay, every son of Adam will commit sins. We all of us are falling short. But the question is, are we trying hard enough? Brothers and sisters, I don't want to take more time. I would say, take home note or take home, point is to start. Just start something. Perfect your prayer, salah. Perfect the way you interact with people. Our salah, and it should be perfected, number one. Okay? And then other things will also be perfect. Inna salata tanha al fahsha'i wal munkar. And this is something that if the salah is good, fahsha and munkar are gonna be blocked. So if we find ourselves doing fahsha and munkar, evil deeds, we'll find that maybe there's an issue in salah. Perfect. Again, there's so many things. But if there's one thing that the Prophet ﷺ, there was a person who came to him and he wanted to give the bay'ah to the Prophet ﷺ, to accept Islam. And he says, but like I drink and I'm a womanizer and this and that. And the Prophet ﷺ says, Astaghfirullah al-azim, la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. He didn't say that. Of course, this is wrong and this is wrong and there's no doubt about it. He said, which one? Pick one for me and I'll leave it. Yeah? He said, don't lie. It was not in what he listed. But the Prophet ﷺ said, okay, don't lie. And we find, subhanAllah, that person said, okay. And he didn't lie, he was truthful, and all the other things changed in his life. And it started from there. Let's try to be more truthful. Let's try to be more sincere in what we do. And our character, wallahi, this is something that we need to fix. It's something that we need to fix. How we deal with people, how we talk to them. Listen, it is learned. People think that character is like you're born with it. No. You acquire it. You try it. It's a perfection. We find that, subhanAllah, people look towards Eastern religion, Buddhism and Taoism and other, Confucianism and so, they talk about perfecting one's character through meditation, through, learning from, their own, peers and sheikhs and so on, right? And Islam teaches you the same. Better, actually, of course. That you need to work at it. You really want to slap that person in his face, man. He's really upset you, You want to scream, you want to blow up. And you're going to say, thank you, I'm sorry. Imagine that, man. You say, I'm sorry to someone who just, really messed you up. And it might be your haqq to get mad at him. It might be but that is ihsan. That you have left it just for the sake of Allah. And you'll find that you will go to a greater, level. SubhanAllah. You'll find at that point. And it will take time, and you'll fight with your nafs and with your heart, and you have to do this and that, but it's my right, and I should get my right, and Islam allows me my right. Yes, it does. But ihsan sometimes says that if you can reach that level, sometimes you forgo your right, just for the sake of avoiding confrontation and people who are jahil. Whether you're going to say sorry or you're going to argue them, it's going to be the same thing for them. But you are going to walk out as the bigger person out there, not for your nafs, not for your own, satisfaction, but for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's another challenge, to have that proper niyyah. But subhanAllah, life is beautiful. And iman is so sweet when you're going through these, struggles, man. You really feel it in your life that, what? SubhanAllah, I'm struggling, man. Like you're going home and you're like, man, I just want to blast, And so I caught this is powerful. You become powerful. You have become powerful. It's very easy to slap someone, to punch someone in the face. It's very hard to hold yourself. Very, very hard. Very difficult. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us among those who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَبَشِّرْ عِبَادِ الَّذِينَ يَسْتَمِعُونَ الْقَوْلَ فَيَتَّبِعُونَ أَحْسَنَهُ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, give glad tidings to the believers who listen to what has been said and they follow the best of it. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us among those who apply ihsan, who apply professionalism in everything they do. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to send peace and blessings on Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.